Hey guys, how you all doing? So in this short video, I'm just going to show you how to find critical values when you're trying to find the confidence interval for means. So the one thing you need to remember is whenever you're dealing with the means, you're not going to use z-scores. So you're not going to use critical z values. You're always going to use critical t values, okay? So you need to have this table. So this is table B, where it gives you the t distribution. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to find it out using the tables and also how to find it out using the calculators. All right, so I've got four examples for you. So let's look at the first one. Let's say that in a particular question, you were told that the level of confidence was going to be 95% and you were dealing with a sample size of 10. So in order to find the critical value for this, we first of all need the degrees of freedom. Now, the degrees of freedom is always the sample size minus 1. So 10 minus 1 gives you 9. So here's how you use the table to find the critical t value. So we first of all look at the bottom and find 95%. On the left-hand side here, this df represents the degrees of freedom. So if I go down to 9 degrees of freedom and then read across and then read up for 95%, I'll get a value of 2.262. Sorry, my eyesight was failing me there. So 2.262. So that is going to be my critical value that I'm going to use for the confidence interval. All right, let's do another one. Let's say I'm looking at 90%, but this time the sample size is 25. So I know that my degree of freedom is going to be 24. Remember, it's always one less than the sample size. So 90% with 24 degrees of freedom, there's 90% at the bottom. And we're going to go up to, what was it, 24 degrees of freedom. There's 24. There's 90%. So it's 1.711. So 1.711. And it really is that easy. Now, occasionally, you get a value where maybe the degrees of freedom aren't there. So in this one, we're looking at 99% with a sample size of 79. So that means my degrees of freedom is going to be 78. So if I go right here, 99% is right there, okay? But my value of 78 degrees of freedom doesn't exist. So what you want to do is you always want to go to the one less than what you're shown on here. So 79 would almost be where 80 is. So instead I use the 1 for 60. So you always want to be going down to the 1 below it. So reading across 60 and 99 gives me a value of 2.660. So my my critical value for that will be 2.660. Now, sometimes you'll have to come up with a level of confidence and also with a sample size where it's not on this table. So, for example, 82% doesn't feature anywhere here at all. So what you want to do is you want to use the calculator. So to give you an idea of what this looks like, if I draw my normal distribution like that, the sample mean is going to be roughly there in the center, and 82% confidence means that this area right here is going to be 82%. So that leaves me with 18% left over. So each of these tails is going to be 9%. So to use the calculator to calculate that critical t value, I go to second vars, and then I want to go down to where it says inverse t. Now, the area here is always the same as the normal distribution. When you do the inverse norm, it's always the area to the left. So if I wanted to find just one of those values, the area to the left of this would be 9%. So that would be 0.09. The degrees of freedom, because my sample size is 42, that means I'm going to be using 41 degrees of freedom. And then go to paste and then press enter, and you'll get your critical value right there. Now, remember, it's giving you a negative value because it's on this side, but when you're coming up with the critical value, it's always going to be positive and or negative. So remember, we have 41 degrees of freedom. So my critical value here is going to be 1.364 if I go to 3 decimal places. And you can get all of these values here as well by using the calculator. Sometimes, though, it's just easier to use the tables because they're right there in front of you. Okay? All right, everybody. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, just reach out to me and let me know. All right. Take care, everybody.